In this video, I'm going to give you an update on my Big Sur update video. That means if I do another update video after this, it'll be an update video to my update video of the update video. Let's get into it. A few weeks ago, Apple released Big Sur 11.2, and I made an update video on my M1 Mac issues, and I stated there that the 11.2 fixed my issues. Well, I still stand by that, but it hasn't fixed all of them. And in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the continuing issues I've had, but I've actually gotten down to why some of these issues haven't been fixed and where the source of the problem is. So I'm going to mainly go over first the Bluetooth issues that a lot of people were having, and a lot of people are still having to some degree, but it depends on the situation as well. And then I'm going to go over some of the reset issues, the rebooting issues that still hasn't been solved, but I'm getting down to the scenarios that it's happening all the time. Okay, to the Bluetooth issues. Now, the original Bluetooth issues I was having, and there were a few of them. Sometimes they would disconnect for no reason, and these have to do with third-party non-Apple Bluetooth keyboards and mice. I wasn't able to connect to them, or they would disconnect intermittently. And then when I put my computer to sleep, I wasn't able to use them after that. They wouldn't connect after that. So the 11.2 update definitely fixed those issues. Then I started getting comments on that video of people still having issues and still having Bluetooth issues. And so shout out to user Dappa311, where we were able to narrow down the issue and find the source of the problem. But the problem was that when you boot up your computer, do a cold boot up, meaning it's been shut down, and you start it back up, or you restart or reboot your computer, you're unable to connect. And what I was doing, and the problem that Apple solved, was when I woke up my computer from sleep, I was able to use my Bluetooth peripherals. But when you restart or boot it up when it's been shut down, I wasn't able to connect to these Bluetooth peripherals. And so the source of the issue is FileVault. And actually, Logitech used to recommend that you turn off FileVault, which I don't think is a solution for some people. Disk encryption is very important to a lot of people. But the reason is when your Mac boots up, they only load in a few basic drivers or basic peripheral profiles, any Apple branded keyboard and mice that's kind of loaded up by default in the operating system. FileVault has to do with it, or is associated with the user. So when I have my Keychron keyboard here and my Logitech mouse, that's related to the user. And so I tested this out, right? I turned off FileVault and I rebooted my computer, and voila, it worked, right? I turned FileVault back on, rebooted my computer, didn't work. I had to plug in my USB keyboard to log in. After I logged in, though, all of a sudden my keyboard and mouse just start to work. That means my Bluetooth peripherals here are associated with the account, which is then encrypted with FileVault. Those drivers are unencrypted and loaded into the system after you log in. So what's the solution around this problem? Well, currently there is no solution or workaround, right? I guess if disk encryption is not that important to you, you can turn off FileVault and everything will work as it should be, right? I wish Apple would allow us to whitelist certain Bluetooth peripherals that can be outside of FileVault that would work when you reboot your computer. Okay, so the other issue that I'm still having is an occasional random reboot. Now, this doesn't happen while I'm using it. It used to happen randomly. Luckily, it never happened when I was on a call or during something important, but that kind of went away for a while. The time that I know it does reboot is when I put the computer to sleep. For some reason, this Mac has a lot of issues with sleeping, kind of like me. But the reboot happens when I put my Mac to sleep for a considerable amount of time. Considerable meaning more than 30 minutes to an hour. I noticed that my system rebooted because, of course, when I log back in, it shows the system crash and do you want to send this to Apple? And I do every time. And so there's other indicators that show that it did restart actually by itself. So I don't have any current solution to the problem. I have a workaround where I don't put this Mac to sleep anymore. It doesn't draw that much power anyway, but I just turn on the screensaver so that when I need to get back on my computer, it requires a password. So there's some protection there. I'm really the only one that uses this computer. But yeah, so that's kind of annoying, but at least I found out when it happens. When I put it to sleep for more than 30 minutes, it probably will restart at some point. So I hope that Apple addresses some of these issues that I talked about. They did release an 11.2.1 update, and that has not fixed the issues. I think after that update, it made the reboot issues even worse for some reason. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this short update video. As soon as Apple comes out with more updates, I'll do some testing and see if these issues go away, and then I'll give you an update on those. Remember, this is a first generation product, the first generation M1 Mac. And so, of course, there's going to be some issues like this. But I have some confidence in Apple that they'll iron out a lot of these issues and make this M1 Mac Mini even more awesome than it is. Of course, with that said, I definitely still recommend getting an M1 Mac. Apple is still probably going to come out with something better as well. An M1X chip Mac or an M2 Mac. Anyway, it's just going to be so awesome from here. And even with all the software updates that are coming out, that'll just make the experience so much better for everyone else. Give this video a like, consider subscribing, and check out my other videos. Until the next one, see ya.